features that haven't been released yet. You're going to be seeing demos live out of our pre-production environment. So if you see any glitches, that's just how you know it's real, right? So I'm going to start the demo just like I start a lot of my days at work, in my inbox. And what you're looking at here is you're seeing me demo off of an iPad, and you're looking at our new Outlook web access experience that was built from the ground up to be fast, fluid, and accessible to touch. You can see here, scroll's nice and smooth. There's some new ways to deal with information overload, like Simon was talking about. I can easily filter down to certain people that I email a lot with, but I'm here to do something a little bit more mundane, something I do every day. I want to share a document. And to do that, I'm going to use one of the same old tricks that I've used so many times before. I'm going to send an attachment. So I'm going to click here to send a new mail. I'm going to type, oddly enough, myself. And I'm going to click this little paperclip icon. Everybody knows that means attachment, right? But you can see we've done a little bit of work to make a common scenario just a little bit more smart in Office 365. When I click attach, the first thing I get is not files from my local machine, but files in my OneDrive. And you can see here I have access to files at the root of my OneDrive. I have access to recent files. This is the roaming, recently opened documents that follow me throughout the experience. But I'm going to pick a document from my OneDrive here, this Northwind 2014 plan. And you see, Office 365 gives me a choice. It says, hey, do you want to send that like a regular attachment? Do you want to send a copy to the recipients? Or do you want to send this as a link to the file in the cloud? And this applies both to files that are already in OneDrive and to files that I'm uploading from my local machine. It allows me to attach something the smart way, uploading it to the cloud and actually calling SharePoint Share API to share it out. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to send a link to Lincoln. I'm going to click send, and I'm going to go, that email is going to go off. I'm now going to switch to this perspective of Lincoln here, and while he did get a mail notification from that share, we're looking right now at his OneDrive for Business, again, running on the iPad. And this right here, this is what I like to call the future of SharePoint UI. It was built from the ground up in HTML5 using responsive web design techniques to be fast, lightweight, touchable, adaptive. You can see if I twist my iPad like this thing changes shape to fit whatever shape of screen I'm on. I'm going to go back to wide mode here, and you can see super fast. I can tab through my different categories of documents. Again, I get that roaming MRU. I can see my follow documents, and I can see shared with me. And right at the top there's that document that was shared with me as a link. And for those of you who know the shared with me feature, you'll be excited to see there's no latency here. This shows right up, no more waiting 45 minutes for search. So I'm going to click that, and it's going to open in full fidelity in Office Online. If the speaker wireless network cooperates with me, it'll open in full fidelity in Office Online. Let's see. Give it just a second here. I'll hit refresh just for fun. Loading back up. Let's try that again. Awesome. That didn't happen, right? That's one of those glitches I was talking about. That's how you know it's real. So, the document that was shared with me, opening in Word Online, full fidelity, I can scroll down, get a preview. What's really cool is this feature over here on the right. You see the little Yammer icon. Something you'll see throughout the course of this demo is we think files and conversations go hand in hand. Whenever you see a file, the conversation travels with it, and you can pull open that Yammer drawer to see all the conversations across all the Yammer groups that are happening about that document. So I'm looking through this document, and I think my colleague Phil would have some great things to say. So the next best thing to him standing right next to me is just mentioning him in this Yammer feed. So I can click here, I can say, hey Phil, I'm going to spare you the agony of watching me try to type on stage. I'll just say help, and I'll post. And so right there, from the context of the document, I can loop in the colleagues, I can start conversations about that document without having to tab over to a communication product. So, back in Office Online, and I'm on an iPad. iPad, of course, iPad now is a first-class content creation device, not just a content viewing device. So I'm going to click Open in Word, and it's going to open in glorious full fidelity in the recently announced, or recently released rather, Office for iPad. So this is another experience that we built from the ground up to be touchable, to be fast, to be fluid, and connected to Office 365. So let's see if the wireless network is going to give me jitters again. This part of the demo is really fun because Office for iPad, super fast, super fluid, great at resizing images. One thing that I really like about Office for iPad is that track changes works. So, we've heard from a lot of people that track changes is something that they miss when they're using the Office online, Office web apps. We brought that as a first-class feature in Office for iPad. It looks like I might not be able to open that given the state of the wireless network. So we might just move on to the next stage of the demo. We could watch that for a while. That's a pretty progress spinner, right? It's nicely animated. Well, so I showed you some cool stuff on the iPad, and that's great. But what's really cool is that everything I showed you today also works on the PC. Thanks for helping, Phil. So I'm going to switch over to my PC here. Oh, see, now it's starting to load, but give me PC2 here. Awesome. So here's my OneDrive view on the web, on the desktop browser, the optimized for mouse and keyboard experience, and I'm going to show you just a few of the new experiences brought to you in the desktop view of OneDrive. First, perhaps my favorite, is Smart Search. So this search box is super useful to finding documents that are both stored in my OneDrive and documents that have been shared with me. So I can type Earthwind, and I can quickly find that document that was shared to me in OA or in Outlook Web Access. Maybe search is not being super cooperative right now either. I'm just going to refresh. Refresh seems to help. I think my computer fell asleep while I was down there, and so now I'm having to wake it back up. Awesome. Let's try that again. Awesome. So here's that search, bringing up documents that have been shared with me, super fast. I can also search on person, depending on who shared the document with me or who last modified. I can type Julia to see documents that were recently modified by Julia. Super fast, super powerful search. Makes it super easy to find documents, even as my OneDrive for Business grows very large. Another cool thing is this new quick command bar. We've gotten feedback from people that they don't always know what this page is about when they first visited. So we put the key actions right there at the top of the screen for you to easily find. So I'm going to go to this ESPC Keynote, and I'm going to highlight it, and I'm going to click that big share button at the top of the screen to kick off sharing of that document. So all documents start out as private. I just uploaded this, so it's shared only to me. And I can really quickly and easily go to get a link, and I can generate a view-only link that anybody in the world can access. Super powerful feature. Also super powerful management behind it, so if you want to see how you manage use of this feature, come to my OneDrive session at 3 o'clock. But I'm going to grab that link, and I'm going to share it on my favorite Twitter personality's Twitter, Simon Scaria. So there is a link to the Keynote deck. If you're following Simon, you all can go and download that deck, so have fun with that. Okay. So that's it for the OneDrive demos. I'm going to switch gears. I've been working with documents for a while, sharing documents, collaborating. It's time to make some business decisions. So I'm going to go over to my Power BI portal. And so I've got the raw data here. I've got some graphs, but I'm a little intimidated by spreadsheets. I could go and build some pivot tables, but what jives with me a little bit better is just typing questions. So instead of going and cracking open the spreadsheet, I'm going to go to the Power BI Search Q&A feature. So here we have an experience where I can just type a question, and this thing is connected to the data that's sitting in my portal and is able to answer questions intelligently about that data. So I'm going to type average annual income per person because I'm trying to figure out how do I target my marketing campaign? What are the lowest hanging fruits in the European market? And so I can see here, just by typing that question, it's looking into my spreadsheet, and it's giving me a cool visualization of where the highest annual income per person is in Europe. But this is good, but I want to slice and dice that data a little bit. I want to do this versus population. And so it's going to think about that a little bit, and it's actually going to give me a new visualization. Depending on the query I run, it's going to give me a different type of chart, one that's particularly well suited to that query. So here, instead of that heat map, it's giving me a scatter chart. And I can see here, I can look in the upper right-hand corner, I can see, well, Germany's got a pretty high income per capita, so does France, UK, Italy. So I think, all right, maybe I know where to target my marketing campaign. This is cool and all, but for my next presentation, I really want something that's going to pop visually. So for that, I'm going to go to Excel, and I'm going to use this new super cool Power Map feature. So I'm going to open the Power Map, I'm going to resume one that I've already started. And you're going to be seeing the same visualizations here, but you're going to be seeing them in glorious 3D, glorious panable, zoomable 3D. So you can see here, I'm getting a really cool visualization of average annual income in Europe. I have another view here that's giving me a really cool visualization of mobile subscription per country, maybe some other data, maybe it's another interesting data to consider when figuring out where to run my marketing campaign. I can also look at internet speed per country. And it's giving me this cool histogram view. I can switch visualizations, I can look at a heat map. I think maybe this is doing pretty well. The coolest thing about this is you can generate a video. You can pan around and you can create a video to show off at your presentation. And this is cool, I'm viewing the video in PowerPoint, but what's even cooler is if I share that video. So I've done that in advance on something super cool, which is our brand new Office 365 video portal. So this is really a turnkey out of the box next generation portal that brings together a lot of different things that make portals on Office 365 great. First of all, it's powered by Azure Media Services, which handles the transcoding of the video, it does adaptive streaming, it really nails that video playback scenario for whatever device you're using to view this video. You see it's using search, it's using the power of the Office Graph to bring me related content to this video, depending on heuristics, depending on who's viewing it, depending on words that are in the title. And it's also, sticking with that earlier theme, bringing me to the conversations about this content right there in place. So I don't have to go to a separate Yammer tab to start a conversation about this video, to mention somebody or share it with somebody that needs to see it. So, in summary, I have shown you document collaboration features connected throughout the suite, social everywhere, working like a network without having to learn entirely new ways of working. I've shown you the power of Power BI and the ability to get data insights without being a super spreadsheet nerd. And I've shown you next generation video portals running on Office 365. You're going to learn more about this particular thing tomorrow at Mark's Keynote, so don't miss it. It's going to be super exciting. At that, I'm going to hand it back to Simon. Thank you very much.